Hi, Arcfieldweather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, August 1st. Yes, we have flipped the calendar from July to August, and yet still no tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin. It certainly has been a slow start in the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, throughout the Atlantic Basin. We are now entering the time period that is typically more active. Certainly August and September are more active months in the tropical season, and yet there's still nothing on the radar, it looks like. And here we are right here, August 1st, with no activity expected over the next couple of days at least. And there's been a combination of atmospheric conditions that have inhibited any tropical storm formation or intensification so far. And in recent days, a lot of Sahara dust, desert dry air moving from the east to the west into the Atlantic Basin region, over the Atlantic Ocean. That has inhibited any tropical activity as well. But again, we are now in the month of August. Normally, things start to ramp up, typically reaching a peak sometime in the middle of September. Well, how unusual is this in terms of the tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin region? We often show this particular table. It contains what we call the accumulated cyclone energy right here in the last column here, the ACE. And this is probably the most accurate, the best way to measure overall tropical activity. It takes into account not only the number of storms, but the strength of the storm, the magnitude of the storm, as well as the duration. So the longer a storm lasts at higher levels of strength, the higher the ACE value. And look at right here what we're seeing here in the Atlantic Basin right here. The number in the parentheses is the typical, the normal number based on the baseline period of 1991 to 2020. And for the Atlantic Ocean, well below normal. Now that could change in a hurry if we have several storms in a row here, and that's certainly on the table as we now are in the month of August. But for now, certainly a slow start in the Atlantic Basin in terms of the ACE, which again is the accumulated cyclone energy. Now the Eastern Pacific is above normal right here, but the Western Pacific far below normal, and overall for the Northern Hemisphere, it's below normal as we begin the month of August. Well, let's now get back to the continental U.S. and take a look at last night's 0Z run of the GFS, the operational version of the GFS. We are starting off the month with some cool, damp weather, certainly below normal temperatures in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. Certainly southeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City are waking up, beginning a new work week, beginning a new month of August on a cool and damp note. Some drizzle and temperatures in the 60s, but they won't go all that far later on today, with perhaps a high of 80 degrees in Philadelphia, for example, maybe the upper 70s in New York City, certainly below normal as we begin the month of August. It does get hotter later in the week. Probably Thursday will be the hottest day of the week in the Mid-Atlantic region, with temperatures surging well up into the 90s in that D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City corridor. Now we have had that one extended heat wave not too long ago, but that was really the only extended heat wave of the summer season in the Mid-Atlantic region. And we'll take a look here at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies, and not many signs of sustained heat going forward over the next couple of weeks. We certainly have some surges of heat and humidity into the northeastern part of the nation, but again, doesn't look like an extended period of time. Here we are beginning the day and the new month right here with some below normal temperatures in the Mid-Atlantic region, and still some cooler than normal air up to the northwest over the southern part of Canada. Now let's move forward. Again, we're looking at 850 millibar temperature anomalies. Certainly Tuesday looks like a warmer day in the I-95 corridor region compared to today, and that's mainly because we'll have plenty of sunshine on Tuesday in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, but plenty of clouds today, limiting temperatures. And again, kind of a cool, damp day. Now, we talked about this last week. Hot air will build up over the central and northern plains by the middle of this week, and you can see some far above normal temperatures by the middle part of the week here on Wednesday, across the central and northern plains, and then kind of shifts into the upper part of the Midwest at midweek. And then that surge of heat and humidity really will be felt on Thursday in the Mid-Atlantic, in the Northeast U.S. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, all likely up in the 90s on Thursday afternoon, probably 95 degrees in the Washington metro region, for example. Now, still have some heat and humidity up across the Central Plains, but Canada showing a cooler than normal air mass, and that tends to slide east and heads toward the southeastern part of Canada. Stays relatively warm, warmer than normal, going into, let's say, Friday, and then even into the upcoming weekend. But the real core of the warm air, relative to normal, remains over the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and the south central part of Canada once we get into the upcoming weekend. And we'll just quickly push through the next several days going into next week. It does look like a potential hot week next week, but that also looks like it may be followed by some cooler than normal air moving from southeastern Canada by the time we get to, let's say, August 10th or 11th or so, across the Great Lakes, and then ultimately right here into the North Atlantic, the northeastern part of the country, all the way from the Midwest. So again, it doesn't look like too many extended periods of hot weather for the northeastern quadrant of the nation. The real sustained heat focused out over the central plains, especially central and northern plains. Again, there will be a surge of heat and humidity, especially on Thursday in the Mid-Atlantic region. Temperatures on that particular afternoon, Thursday afternoon, well up in the 90s in much of the area. Well, in terms of rainfall, let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. We do have some drizzle right now, low clouds and drizzle. Philadelphia, Allentown, New York City, much of New Jersey this morning. A light easterly flow of air that's keeping clouds in place. It's promoting some drizzle in the area from Philadelphia northeast to New York City, and it will help to keep temperatures below normal for the remainder of the day. Not much in terms of rainfall, maybe a shower or two, but again, some drizzle this morning. Then the next threat comes later on tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm with the next frontal system that drops to the south and east. Here we are on Tuesday, and notice here in the middle part of the nation we have a broad southwesterly flow of air from way down south all the way up into the central plains and northern plains. This is the forecast map for later tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening. This is when the hot weather really starts to develop across these central and northern plains. And here we are now into Wednesday, midweek. Again, notice on the backside of high pressure we have this fetch of air coming out of the hot south central part of the nation into the upper part of the Midwest. Starts to transition to a hot weather here in the Mid-Atlantic region on Wednesday. Not terrible on Wednesday. The real surge comes on Thursday. In fact, let's move forward here, and we can see that that southwesterly flow of air definitely starts to be felt in the northeastern part of the nation. This is the fetch of air coming for Thursday from the south central states into the northeastern part of the nation. Probably the hottest day of the week coming on Thursday with high temperatures up in the 90s. But there'll be another frontal system to deal with, and maybe some showers and thunderstorms Thursday night into the day on Friday. This could turn out to be kind of a significant rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region, for New England, rest of the northeastern part of the nation. We'll have to watch out for that. Again, we're talking Thursday night into Friday, and that follows probably the hottest afternoon on Thursday afternoon for D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Then it stays somewhat unsettled as we go into the final day of the work week. And notice again here, we have kind of a cool high pressure system up across southeastern Canada. It could push some cooler air into New England by the time we get into the end of the work week. So a cool, damp start to the month of August. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, not quite as cool and damp down across the D.C. metro region, as clouds will pretty quickly down there give way to sunshine. But even down in D.C., probably slightly below normal temperatures for this afternoon, and hard pressed to reach 80 degrees in Philadelphia and New York City later on today. Certainly below normal as we begin the month of August. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorey.